Hi, this is Judy. I'm here at Soul Farm. I'm by the ponds, and right behind me is one of our favorite trees here at Soul Farm. Yes, I know, it's dead. Over the years, because of that, all of the bark has fallen off and it's taken on this pretty cool sculptural quality. Oftentimes there'll be woodpeckers in it, contributing to the sounds around here. Right behind me, that direction is east, and the moon will be rising over the ponds, and that tree can just kind of glow under those conditions. And if I'm really lucky, I'll look up and I'll see the silhouette of an owl up in its branches. It's very cool. I just don't stand underneath it for very long. Anyway, I'm going to take you through a practice today that is a good, well-rounded practice, very quick, 15-minute practice, but it focuses on the feet, the ankles, and the calves. These areas, I think, can often be tight and sore and weak, but we often don't address them particularly in our practice, even though they're the very things that are carrying us through our practice. So today, that's going to be a particular focus. So we'll start in tabletop on our hands and knees and have a couple of blocks ready and waiting for you at the front of your mat. And then on an inhale, lift your tailbone, lift your gaze, and let your heart and your belly drop. Exhale, round your spine, tuck your tailbone and your chin. Inhale, back to your back bend, pressing your heart forward, and exhale, round into your cat tilt. Inhale into your back bend or cow tilt. Exhale, round and bring your hips all the way back to your heels. Reach your hands forward as you press your hips back. Enjoy this stretch in the shoulders. Then inhale back to tabletop. Curl your toes under. Round your spine and bring your hips back to your heels again. Now this time as you reach your hands forward, you can move a little bit with your toes curled under and stretch the soles of the feet. This might not be real comfortable if your toes don't like to bend this way. That's okay. Let's just inhale back to tabletop with the back bend. And then as you exhale, lift your hips up to the sky in an upside down V shape and pedal your feet to open up your calves and the soles of your feet. This upside down V shape is called downward facing dog. Now bring your shoulders forward over your wrists to the top of a push-up and then lift back to downward facing dog. Lift your heels high and come forward to that top of a push-up again. This is called plank. Inhale back to down dog and press your heels down. Inhale, lift the heels high. Exhale, forward to plank. Keep your heels lifted so you feel a stretch in your feet. Inhale to down dog and exhale, press the heels down. Get a stretch in your calves. Inhale, heels lift. Exhale, plank. Inhale, down dog, heels lift. Exhale, press the heels down. One more time. Inhale, big lift. Exhale, forward to plank. Inhale, down dog. And exhale, press the heels down. Soften your knees and walk your feet forward to your hands and dangle in an easy forward fold. Place your hands on your shins and lengthen your spine. Draw your shoulders up away from the mat. And then exhale, easy fold. Inhale, reach your arms high to the sky as you rise. And exhale, join your palms and lower them to the heart. All right, step your feet about hip distance apart. Press the four corners of your feet evenly down into the mat. Lift your toes, fan them, and then relax them. Inhale, lift your arms high. Exhale, soften your knees and fold. Now, we'll use our blocks, place them at the highest level by your heels. Step your right leg way back. A long, long step back into a lunge. With your fingers on your blocks for balance, lift your heart. As you exhale, extend your front knee towards straight. And as you inhale, lift your heart and bend your front knee. Move back and forth. As you work your front knee towards straight, you'll feel a gentle stretch in your hamstring. And as you bend your front knee, you'll feel the stretch in the front of your right hip. Moving back and forth, remember to lift your heart as you bend your knee. That will get you the stretch in the front of the right hip. The next time your front knee comes towards straight, pause. Now, your toes are pointing directly forward and keep pressing your back heel towards the mat. Then lift the front part of your left foot high. Your heel's still on the mat. And then press that foot down and lift your back heel high. Back and forth like that. Lift the front of the front foot and then press it down as you lift the heel of the back foot. Working back and forth, feeling a stretch and strengthening in your back foot. Then finally, press your front foot down, press your back heel down, and get a stretch in your front shin, maybe the front of the foot or the calf, and definitely your back calf. Lengthen your spine as you straighten your knees. Then bend your right knee over your heel, lower your back knee down to the mat. Bring your blocks forward out of your way. With your left hand on your left thigh, lift your right arm high and twist your heart towards the left. With your right elbow on your left thigh, use that to leverage you deeper into the twist, praying your hands. And then lower your hands down to the mat. Lift your back knee and step back to plank pose. Lower your knees and lower your hips, heart, and shin all the way down to the mat. Lengthen your legs, keep them parallel. Inhale to an easy cobra pose. Curl your toes under through tabletop and bring your hips to your heels for a child's pose. Then lift to downward facing dog. Lower your knees to the mat. Bring your hips back to your heels, and this time keep the tops of your feet flat on the mat as you sit up. Bring your right hand to your right knee and lift it, getting a stretch in the front of your right foot and in your shin. And then lower, and let's repeat that with the left knee. Lower that shin back to the mat. And now lean forward in your child's pose, but this time reach back and take a hold of your heels with your hands. Tuck your chin to your chest, and with the top of your head on the mat, begin to lift and lower your hips away from your heels. Keep a hold of your heels with your hands so you get a stretch in your back. Then reach your hands way forward. Press your palms down, spread your fingers, come back to tabletop, curl your toes under and lift to downward facing dog. Walk your feet forward to your hands and bring your hands to your shins, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms sweep high to the sky, join your palms. And exhale, glide the thumbs to the heart. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, soften your knees and fold. Grab your blocks, place them at the highest level by your heels, and step your left leg way back. Lift your heart, and then extend your right knee towards straight, and then bend the knee and lift the heart again. Move back and forth between a hamstring stretch and then a lunge where you can open your left hip flexor. Back and forth. Take one more complete bend and extend, and then the next time that your front knee is towards straight, just pause. Keeping both feet facing straight forward, lift the front part of your right foot, and then press it down and lift your back heel high. Then rock back, lifting the front part of your right foot, and then rock forward and lift your back heel high, and move back and forth. You'll feel like you're really strengthening the back foot and stretching the calves as well. And then here's my favorite part. Press the front part of your front foot down, hold it, press your back heel down, lengthen your legs and lengthen your spine. And if you're tight anywhere in your lower legs, this should hit that spot and feel really good. And then bend your right knee, lower your left knee, your back knee down to the mat. Bring your right hand to your thigh, and we'll take a twist towards the right, praying your hands if that works. You can use your elbow on your outer thigh as leverage to draw you deeper into the twist. Then lower both of your hands back to your blocks. Move your blocks forward out of your way. Plant your hands on your mat, lift your back knee, step back to plank pose. Now you can keep your knees straight or lower them to the mat. Lower your hips, heart, and shin all the way down. Inhale to cobra, and then press back. Bring your hips to your heels. Curl your toes under, get that foot stretch, and then lift your knees, lifting your hips up to the sky for downward facing dog. Pedal your feet, lower your knees back to the mat, and sit up hips to heels. This time, bring your hands behind you and rotate your shoulders so that your thumbs are facing your feet, fingers away. Keep your hips at your heels. Draw your shoulder blades together down the back and lift your heart towards the sky. You can keep your chin at your chest or drop your head back for a heart opener. Come upright. Rest for a moment. Now we're going to take one more back bend, and this time you have an option to perhaps make it a little deeper. Bring your hands back behind you, again rotating so that the thumbs are facing your feet. Draw your shoulder blades together and down the back and lift and open your heart. You can keep the chin to the chest or drop your head back. And if you like, lift your hips off your heels for a little deeper back bend and breathe here. Lower your hips back to your heels and come upright again and rest for a moment. Now bring your palms back to the mat in front of you, back to a tabletop position. Bring your hands forward about another 6 or 8 inches and then lift to downward facing dog. Pivot both of your heels to the left. Bend your left knee and press your right knee straight, bringing your whole foot down to the mat. Now your goal here is to get a stretch in your right calf. So you can rock a little bit or dip one hip a little bit to find that. And then let's pivot the heels to the right, bending the right knee and pressing the left foot completely down into the mat with the knee straight, finding the stretch in the left calf. And then pivot back to center. Now step your left foot forward to your left thumb. Move your right foot a little to the right and plant it. Now with your left hand on your left hip, stabilize your hips forward. Reach your right arm forward as you lift your torso and then lift both arms high. This is warrior one, and this is a big stretch for the back calves. So if it's too much, you can move your back foot forward a tad. Support your low back with a firm belly as you hinge forward and bring your hands to your blocks. Carry them around to the long edge of the mat. Now turn your toes a little inward. You're in a wide stance here, a wide forward fold. And on an exhale, round your spine. Then inhale, come back to that long spine with a back bend. Lift your tailbone. Let your heart lower a little bit. Now this is going to feel a lot different than rounding your spine. This is going to give you a stretch through your hamstrings, your calves, maybe a little inner thighs. If you feel like you might be overstretching in your outer ankles or feet, shorten your stance. Bring your feet together an inch and just see if that makes a difference. Find a good, safe place to stretch. Then lift your upper body and bring your hands back to your blocks. Now turn your toes out, bend your right knee and spin around to face the back end of your mat. You're in a long lunge. Move your left foot a little bit to the left and plant it. Your toe will be facing the upper left corner of your mat. Stabilize your hips with your right hand. Lift up to warrior one. Both hips are pointing forward. Shorten your stance if this is too deep of a stretch in the calf. All right, with a firm belly, hinge forward and lower your hands to your blocks. Spin back to face the long edge of the mat again. Turn your toes in. Exhale, round your spine. Inhale, lift your tailbone, let your belly drop. And now, bring your hands to the mat and walk your hands forward. Keep your heels on the mat as your shoulders and your hips move forward and deepen the stretch in the calves. Again, if this is an overstretch, you can bring your feet a little closer together. Now press your hands down and forward and reach your hips back toward your heels. This is going to feel like a downward facing dog except with really wide legs, and it's going to be a good stretch for the shoulders and the whole spine. Bring your shoulders forward again and start to walk your hands back towards your feet. Heel toe your feet together until they're a little more than hip distance. Drop your hips between your knees for a squat. and then lower all the way down to seated. And from an easy seated position, let's give the soles of the feet a massage. So you've got some tough connective tissue down there that works hard. So with your thumbs, give a massage from the heel up to the ball of the foot, well into the arch. Just bring some blood flow to the soles of the feet. And then let's take the other foot, give it that same attention. Your feet work hard. And then bringing the feet forward, let's use the thumbs to massage the tops of the feet, right between those little bones into the ankles. Holding on to your feet, and maybe you continue that massage as you drape over your bent knees, stretching out your upper back, your shoulders. Come all the way up and give yourself a deep inner bow for attending to your practice. And I thank you for sharing your time. And I think your feet thank you too. Namaste.